Okay. Yes, beta. Today we are going to start our next lecture. This is a lecture number, the 11th lecture. In this lecture, we will try to understand realistic investments. We will try to discuss business fixed investments under new classical model of investment. In the last lecture, we discussed three types of investments. The first type of investment, business fixed investment. This kind of investment is done by the rental firm. So new classical model of investment is based on business fixed investment. New classical model of investment is based on business fixed investments. The basic point of discussion in this model are three. The first point is that new classical model shows that how does investment depend upon MPK? How does investment depend upon MPK? MPK is marginal production of capital, means additional production from additional business fixed investment. Additional production from additional unit of, from additional infrastructure, from additional capital of business fixed investment. The second one is, this model shows that how do investment depend upon interest rates. This is the second point of the new classical model of investment. How does investment depend upon interest rate? Interest rate is very clear. The third point is of discussion. New classical model of investment shows that how does investment depend upon tax rules affecting business fixed investment, or does investment depend upon tax rules affecting firms? Affecting firms, the firms who are doing business fixed investment. These 3 points we will discuss step by step under new classical model of investment. Again, the first point, how does investment depend upon marginal production of capital? Second point, how does investment depend upon interest rate? Third, how does investment depend upon tax rules affecting firms doing business fixed investment? The second, now we are going to the next point, which is much interesting and a very basic point. That is very important for you to keep in your mind. We are going to discuss 2 types of investment. In this model, we will take both forms. We will discuss both forms. For simplicity, in this model, we assume that there are 2 types of the firms. There are 2 types of the firms. First one is the production firm. Production firm. Here, production firms who get capital on rents. Who get capital on rent and use this capital to produce goods and services. Like Fahil is doing business. Fahil क्या करता है? Socks हौसली का बिजनेस करता है. तो सॉक्स प्रोड्यूस करने के लिए ये फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल मशीन रेंट पे लेगा, क्योंकि ये प्रोड्यूसिंग यूनिट है. ये क्या है? प्रोड्यूसिंग फॉर्म है फहीम. तो फहीम will get machines on rent. Then he will use these machines to produce goods, to produce socks and services. So this is the Fahil firm is the production firm who produce socks by renting capital from rental firms. Now, the second type is very interesting, is the rental firms. Rental firms are the firms who own capital, who own capital. They buy capital. They are the owner of capital, actual capital owners, and rent it, rent this capital out to the production firms. रेंटल फर्म्स कौन सी हैं? जो कैपिटल जिनका अपना होता है और वो प्रोडक्शन फर्म्स को रेंट पे कैपिटल देती है. प्रोडक्शन फर्म्स कैन बी रेंटल फर्म्स. अगर प्रोडक्शन फर्म्स का अपना कैपिटल है, देन वही फर्म्स रेंटल फर्म्स भी होंगी, वो प्रोडक्शन फर्म्स भी होंगी. ठीक होगी बात? सो इन दिस कॉन्टेक्स्ट, in the two types of the firms, in this context, in this context, investment, business fixed investment is the spending of rental firms, is the spending of rental firms on new capital goods. So in this context, business fixed investment is the spending of rental firms, is the spending of rental firms on new capital goods. In other words, business fixed investment is the spending of rental firms on new capital goods. That is the point of discussion, business fixed investment. Business fixed investment is the spending of rental firms on new capital. Now, we are going to next to explain new classical models. Keep in your mind, we will keep in discussion both firms. दोनों firms को साथ लेकर चलेंगे. In new classical model of investment. Now, we are going to discuss the production firm behavior. Production firms are the firms who produce goods and services by renting capital from rental firms. A production firm, इस डायग्राम में हम ये डिस्कस करेंगे कि प्रोडक्शन फर्म्स कितना कैपिटल रेंट पे लेंगे in the rental market. How much capital the production firms will rent in the rental market. Again, in this diagram, we will discuss how much capital the production firms will rent in the capital rental market from rental firms. So here, one thing is very important. You must assume the production firms are competitive. Competitive firms mean, as you have already perfect competition. Competitive firms mean there are many firms in the market producing same things, similar products. They have similar knowledge, And many firms and many buyers in this market, in this the firms, the competitive firms. The firms, simply one sentence only keep in your mind. Competitive firms are the firms which could not affect market price. Could not affect market price. Keep in your mind. Competitive firms वो होती हैं जो मार्केट प्राइस को चेंज नहीं कर सकती. जब वो रेंटल मार्केट में भी जाएंगी तो वो मार्केट प्राइस को चेंज नहीं कर पाएंगी. कोई इक्विलिब्रियम प्राइस होगी. जब वो प्रोडक्शन मार्केट में जाएंगी तो वहां भी प्राइस लेवल चेंज नहीं होगा. जो मार्केट प्राइस लेवल होगा उसी प्राइस पे वो प्रोडक्ट सेल करेंगे. The firms are competitive who cannot influence market price. Here, competitive firms' decision is to get capital on rent at a point where marginal product of capital equal to real rent. R mean rent. R mean rent. R mean rent. Just nominal rent. Then we divide nominal rent by price level. Price of the capital. Then it will be the real rent. It will be the real rent. MPK is very clear, the marginal product of capital. Okay. So competitive firms will decide to rent capital at a point. One sentence. The competitive firms will decide to rent capital at a point where marginal product of rented capital is equal to the real rent. That is the point. Now we are going to discuss the graphical presentation of firm decision. You can send me message on WhatsApp if you have any problem. I can see. You please type your message in WhatsApp. If you have any problem, I can share. So competitive firms will decide to rent capital at a point where marginal product of capital is equal to the real rent. Now we are going to explain the diagram. See the diagram, please. Yes, Fahil, any problem? If someone can share in WhatsApp group. So in this diagram, please come on the diagram. Here, on the horizontal axis, capital stock. The rented capital, which production firms rent from rental firms. Capital is on the horizontal axis. This capital is rented by the production firms from rental firms. And in the vertical axis, real rent. Vertical axis is the real rent. Okay, can we say here is also we can put here marginal production of capital, but we are ignoring. You please leave it. Just real rent. That is very important for you. Just take it. Real rental price, that is R over P. R means just nominal rent. Rent in money, like 10,000. Divided by capital price, that is real rent of renting capital. One thing, assume that capital supply is really fixed. In the rental market, rental firms have fixed amount of capital. There is no change in capital. That is very important. There is no change in capital. Capital is fixed in the rental firms. They have the fixed capital. Production firms, so this is a rental firms behavior. Supply capital supply curve shows rental firms behavior. how much capital they own. They own the fixed capital. Fixed capital है उनके पास. Now the production firm behavior. They demand capital according to the rent. According to the rent. As you can see here, downward sloping demand curve, capital demand curve. That is margin production of capital. Okay. So here, you can see here that as real rent is decreasing, move along the demand curve. As real rent is decreasing, you can see here the production firms are showing reduction in capital demand. Capital demand, you can see here capital supply and demand on horizontal axis. Demand is decreasing. Demand is decreasing. When rent is here, higher rent, lower demand. Mid of the line. Little lower real rent, more demand for capital. Then here, capital supply equal to capital demand. Capital supply equal to capital demand. Here, demanders are competitive production firms. Suppliers are rental firms. Both are agreed. Both are agreed to make transaction of this capital, to make commitment on this capital at this rent. At this rent. This is the equilibrium rent. This is the equilibrium rental rate. At this rate, at this real rental rate will be equal to the margin of production of capital. So, another thing, very important. जैसे जैसे रेंट कम होता जा रहा है, डिमांड बढ़ती जा रही है. सेकंड बेटा वेरी जो डीप थिंग है यहाँ, जैसे जैसे कैपिटल बढ़ता जा रहा है, वैसे वैसे क्या हो रहा है, मार्जिनल प्रोडक्शन ऑफ कैपिटल भी कम होती जा रही है. दैट इज मार्जिनल प्रोडक्शन ऑफ कैपिटल इज डिमिनिशिंग. जब फर्म इस पॉइंट पे पहुंचती है जहां पे मार्जिनल प्रोडक्शन ऑफ कैपिटल इक्वल टू रियल रेंट हो जाता है, एट दिस पॉइंट यहाँ पे बेटा मार्जिनल प्रोडक्शन ऑफ कैपिटल कम होती जा रही है. लेकिन जब इस पॉइंट पे पहुंचते हैं, मार्जिनल प्रोडक्शन ऑफ कैपिटल इज इक्वल टू द रियल रेंट. मार्जिनल प्रोडक्शन ऑफ कैपिटल इक्वल टू द रियल रेंट. Okay. So this is the equilibrium point. This is the equilibrium point in the capital rental market. Again, I'm going to explain this diagram for your best understanding. We take real rental price on the vertical axis, capital stock on the horizontal axis. Capital stock means supply and demand, both capital supply and capital demand on the horizontal axis. Capital supply curve is fixed, whatever the rental price. This is a short term phenomenon. Short term में क्या होता है, capital supply है. So capital supply is fixed by the rental firms. So suppliers are the rental firms, demanders are the production firms. Supply curve is the vertical, demand curve is the downward slope. Two reasons of the downward sloping demand curve. First reason is जैसे जैसे real rent कम होता जा रहा है, वैसे वैसे demand बढ़ती जा रही है, holding other things on that. Second, जैसे जैसे कैपिटल बढ़ता जा रहा है वैसे वैसे मार्जिनल प्रोडक्शन ऑफ कैपिटल क्या हो रहा है, कम होता जा रहा है। ओके, so finally equilibrium point is here, that you can write here point E, that is equilibrium point, where MPK equal to R over P. First equilibrium is where capital supply equal to capital demand, where suppliers are willing to, where rental firms are willing to supply capital, and perfectly competitive production firms are willing to demand capital at equilibrium point. So this is the equilibrium point of capital, rented capital. This amount of capital will be supplied from the rental firms, and this amount of capital will be demanded by the production firms. Now हम ये डिसाइड हमने कर लिया कि कितना कैपिटल प्रोडक्शन फर्म्स क्या करेंगे, डिमांड करेंगे, और डिमांड करने के बाद कितना कैपिटल प्रोडक्शन प्रोसेस में लगाएंगे, ये बात कंफर्म होगी। कितना कैपिटल, कितनी मशीनरीज पहेल सॉफ्ट प्रोडक्शन में लगाएगा, तो कितनी मशीनरीज हैं, 5 भी हो सकती है यहाँ पे, 10 भी हो सकती है, कुछ नहीं कितनी भी हो सकती है, क्योंकि यहाँ पे क्या है, एडिशनल यूनिट की जो प्रोडक्शन है रेंटल प्राइस के इक्वल है। We have done this one. Now we are going to the next. That is very important. Now we are going to explain this model with example. Model with example. So this model we will explain with Cobb-Douglas production function. With Cobb-Douglas production function, we will discuss this model in detail. And what is the Cobb-Douglas production function? Cobb-Douglas production function is the production function which really clearly, which explicitly defines the share, the contribution of capital and labor into the production. Which explicitly defines the contribution of capital and labor into production. Like here, Y is a function of A means here technology, K means capital, then capital, which production firms rent from rental firms. A raised to power alpha, L means is the labor that production firm hired, and its power is 1 minus alpha. So here alpha between 0 and 1. If alpha is 0.6, then 1 minus alpha is 0.4. Here alpha plus 1 minus alpha equal to 1. Alpha plus 1 minus alpha is equal to 1. So here, if alpha is 0.6, then 1 minus alpha is 0.4. It means 60% share of capital, 60% capital, share of capital is used to produce specific level of production, and 40% share of labor is used to produce output level. Okay, this is the Cobb-Douglas production function. Simple interpretation. Now we have to solve the equilibrium. Which one we have done? Where is the equilibrium of renting capital, of getting capital on rent? Where real rent equal to marginal production of capital. Where real rent equal to marginal production of capital. Now we will solve the production function for marginal production of capital. How to get marginal production of capital? Marginal production capital, for marginal production of capital, we will take derivative. We will take derivative for the Cobb-Douglas production. Then we will take derivative of Cobb-Douglas production function. I think you have done already in the last lecture how to get derivative of the Cobb-Douglas production. Right? So, because it takes some time to discuss in detail, so we will discuss the derivative. You will do by self at home. Fahil, your fellows, you will do by self at home, and we will discuss detail the Cobb-Douglas production from MPK, from Cobb-Douglas production function. Then we will put it to equal to real rents. Then we will discuss in detail. So if you have any problem, you can discuss. Now I'm going to stop the lecture.